Turn off the lights.
Hey everyone, Random Randy here, and this is going to be a slightly different sort of video from my usual yarn talks and various other just random vlogs. This is going to be a tag video. You've probably seen quite a few of these floating around by now if you're somebody who watches yarny stuff on a semi-regular basis. This is the Crochet Goals 2018 tag. I was tagged by Sean over at Sean's Crafty Corner, but I have seen several other people doing these videos already, and I believe the originator, although I'm not 100% positive, but I think the farthest back as far as dates go I can find of these videos is from Lee over at totallee.net. She also has a YouTube channel, which I will link, but I think she was the one who started this. Not quite sure. Either way, I'm going to tag her and Sean so that everybody can go check out their responses to these questions, and it's just 8 questions and tagging a few other people to carry on the game afterwards. So I'm just going to be working on crocheting this as I'm answering the questions, because at this point what I'm working on right now is just going around and around and around and around and around and around some more. You will see I have my furry co-host here, so if you hear a strange low rumbling noise, it is probably Mr. Nurgle. My sewing table has become his new favorite place to hang out because it keeps him off the floor, so when the kids come bombing into the room, it doesn't disturb him as much because he doesn't have to worry about getting stepped on, which is super awesome. So anyway, the first question is, which current work in progress are you most looking forward to completing in 2018? For me, that is a tie between the His and Hers outdoor sweater, which I'm making with Deborah Norville's Everyday Yarn in the lava colorway, which you've probably seen 100,000 times if you watched my videos before. And the other thing is my second pair of knitted socks, because I have one sock from it that's about a little more than halfway done right now. I just haven't been feeling knitting. It's really weird. I always get the urge to knit socks when the weather starts getting warmer. Not quite sure why that is. It's kind of weird. So question 2, which project are you most excited about starting? All the projects, I guess. I don't really plan projects that far in advance. For me, it's more a matter of, I feel like making this type of a thing, and then I go look in my giant shelf of yarn or sort through the few bins that I have left, aside from the shelf, which I'm working on getting, well, I'll get to that later. Anyway, so I pretty much just go through my shelves and find a color that strikes my fancy and roll with it. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I end up hating it, and throw it in the bag of stuff to eventually someday get frogged. Number 3, are there any new stitches or techniques that you are looking forward to attempting in 2018? Yes. Primarily for me, I am going to master crochet cabling this year. That is my big goal, because I think cables are really neat. I can do them in knitting. However, the thing that I despise about knitting is that it takes me anywhere from 3 to 6 times as long to accomplish a knitted project as it does a crochet project. For instance, a hat. I can crochet an average hat, worsted weight yarn, eye hook, about an hour and a half, as long as it's not something with tons of crazy stitches or sculpting or whatever. Knitting a hat, however, and we're talking super basic knit, doing a few rounds of knit 2 purl 2 to make ribbing along the bottom, and then just stockinette in the round with bulky yarn and I think I usually use an 8mm needle for bulky yarn when I'm knitting. 5 to 6 hours. I love the way knitted things look, but crochet is so much faster. It's just a better option for that instant gratification that I'm usually seeking. So looking forward to crochet cables. I actually have a book that has some stuff on it. I've been watching videos. I found a few patterns that are free patterns to try, so I'm gonna tackle crochet cabling this year. That's gonna be my thing. Number 4, will you be or would you like to participate in a crochet along? I don't have any plans necessarily to participate in any. If I see one that strikes my fancy, maybe. I like the idea of having some interaction with other people who are doing a similar project. However, having 2 kids and running a house, and with finding out that now, aside from just being gone for a month like I was expecting, in the next few weeks, once my husband leaves, he will be gone for 75 out of the following 90 days. Yeah, so that's gonna be a blast. So things where I am under a time constraint to perform crochet, as much as I am motivated by having set time limits on things, I also know that it's not necessarily realistic for me to expect to be able to accomplish tasks of a certain size within a time frame that someone who doesn't have 2 small children and a house to take care of and 0 adult help or other interaction. I don't feel like people who don't have those things would have as much problem accomplishing crochet along. I'd actually like to maybe possibly run/host one this summer. We shall see. It all depends. There are so many what if factors that make up how things are gonna go, honestly. Number 5, do you have any yarn goals for this year? I have several yarn goals for this year. Biggest yarn goal is to not spend more on yarn than I am making from selling things made from yarn this year. So, with it now being the post-Christmas season and sales aren't completely dry, but they have definitely slowed a significant amount, that pretty much means that with the exception of filler colors that are in just about everything I do, such as black, white, and red, I have no intentions of buying yarn even when it's on sale until probably summertime, possibly longer if I can stretch it. I am really trying to exert a bit more self-control and acknowledge the fact that I have so much yarn here because it's not all up on shelves. I'm not even 100% positive what I have at this point. I kind of have a good idea because the bins that I have under my table over here, I can see through the sides most of what's in it. But I can kind of shop my stash and it's like things are fresh and new because I have so much stuff already. So one of my yarn goals is to not really buy much yarn this year. So if you really like my yarn haul videos, you're gonna have to go to the playlist that I made of them and just rewatch the old ones if you need to get your fiber fix without spending money on your own and then feeling guilty about doing so. Go ahead and watch the videos that I made so I can feel guilty about the fact that I bought so much freaking yarn last year. Oh my lord. So much it appalls me when I look at it now. Other yarn goals. I would like to, by the end of this year, have all of my yarn fit onto the big gray shelf that previously you would see behind me when I was filming. right now I think it's just kind of better to have the window and the kitty cat, and look, I'm scholarly because I have books. No, not really, but you know what I'm saying. Having to move the craft room around to make more room, to make the space more efficient, it just made more sense to put the big table back up, since I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing in regards to craft fairs and vending this year. I don't know. My husband's going to be gone so much, and I can't really take my kids, with as young as they are, to sit in a booth with me, and I'm not going to pay a babysitter to watch my kids while I am vending, because then that would be like doubling your table fee plus, depending upon how long the actual event was. No thanks. So, ultimate goal, not buy as much yarn, get the stuff in the bins up onto the shelf, which means using up a lot of the stuff that's on the shelf. Primarily my giant cotton shelf. I want to have what I have up there, if not more. And don't get me wrong, I like having as much here as possible for making projects and things for my shop, but I have a lot of weird color combinations of some things that they were on sale and they seemed like a good idea at the time, but I bought them without a purpose, and now they continue to sit, still without a purpose. So I want to eliminate a lot of the stuff that's just sitting here taking up space. I just try to do a triple instead of a double. What am I thinking? Anyway, number 6. Which crochet projects would you like to see more of in 2018? 2 things, and I'm actually going to steal them from other people whose Craft Eagle videos I have already watched. One of them is to find more substantial one skein projects. And I don't mean a one skein project that uses itty bitty amounts of it. We're talking like a quarter of the skein. No, I mean something that will use enough of the skein that when you're done, you'll have a tiny little ball that's maybe 5 to 10 grams tops, so that then I can add those onto my scrap blanket. Another thing that I would like to see more of, clothing for adult women that is crocheted, that is not something that's so ultra lacy that you need to wear something underneath it. When it's summertime, I know the last thing that I want to do is go put on a tank top underneath the crocheted top that I've made. My body, unfortunately, is not in the kind of shape yet where I am comfortable with wearing a crop top, running around in that. So I am looking into and potentially planning to modify a few patterns that I found that I like for a tank top I would be comfortable wearing without having anything under it, aside from a bra, because, you know, that thing. We live in America and nipples are the devil. I'll just leave it at that. So, women's apparel that is comfortable and keeps you covered without being stiflingly hot. So that's another reason I want to be working with my cotton yarns primarily. I'm actually kind of testing a pattern that I've written out right now that I'm working on. And it's going to be, eventually, it's going to be a tank top. And this is what it looks like in the front so far. And it has the racer back. It's pretty much just getting the sizing figured out for everything, getting it long enough, having it be wide enough that it still conceals my mommy kangaroo pouch that is persistent and won't go away, but without looking like I am wearing a tent, because I do not like dressing that way. Some people are comfortable dressing that way. That's great for you. More power to you. Whatever you're comfortable in, have fun with it. I don't like my clothing to be that loose. I don't like it to be skin tight so everyone can, you know, see me breathing necessarily or see my heartbeat through my clothes. but I do like it to mostly fit my form, if you get what I mean. Number 7, shout out a fellow crocheter you're excited to watch in 2018. There is a huge laundry list of people that I watch regularly now, so I'm just going to name off a few people and leave it at that. Because seriously, I could make a list of people all day long. So one person that I'm excited to watch because I like seeing all of the things that she makes is Ella from No Catchy Name Crochet Talk. She's really good about posting patterns and things that are on sale, and I really like the huge amigurumis that she makes, and I like seeing what she's doing for the fair. Another person I'm excited to continue watching in 2018 is Kendra from Hooked by Happenstance. She's kind of all over the place in her makes, but she seems to go through cycles of making certain things, kind of like I do. You'll find a pattern and you'll really like it, and you'll make 4 or 5 of something very similar, and then you're like, I'm over it, and then you go do something different, which is cool. Another person who I'm really excited to keep watching is Kim from Blue Cherub 82. She's over in the UK, and she has stuff all over the map. She's been doing daily vlogs as well here and there, which is pretty cool. I like seeing that more of the craft vloggers are getting into the certain months are daily vlog months thing. It's kind of cool to feel like you're getting to know people outside of just what we can do with a stick and some yarn. There are 2 more people that I will name that I'm excited to keep watching. One of them because she hasn't posted in a while, and one of them just because. So the first one is Elizabeth from A Crafty Crocheter. She does a ton of charity makes. I would say probably 85 to 90% of what she does she gives away to charity, which I think is fantastic and amazing. And I wish that more people had the means and the heart to give to those in need. And I understand that it's not something that everyone is financially capable of doing, but if you can, help out your fellow people. Every human being is a human. And I'm not going to go into a 20-minute tirade about how horrible the homeless situation is in all of the surrounding towns near us in Washington, because I have done that several times before. So I will spare you the rant this time. Just know, I think it's a horrible injustice that there are people who live on the streets in the elements and everyone looks at them as if every single one of them is a criminal or an addict and doesn't deserve to be alive as a result.
Oh, Todd!
Hi, sweetie.
I want bacon naked too.
And after Elizabeth, the last person that I'm looking forward to watching, well, at least that I'll bother listing here because, as I said, there are a lot, is Tiffany, the Conscious Crafter, because we have not seen a video from her in a while, and I'd like to see what she's up to and how she's doing. So, if you're watching, Tiffany, we want to see you if you get a chance. No pressure, but if you get a chance, we'd like to see you. And number 8 is, are there any repeat crochet projects from 2017 that you would like to make more of? Hang on, sweetie, hang on. In 2018. Yes. And some of them are the little amigurumi crochet octopi that I make in droves just because it's a quick project, it's an easy project, and I never seem to get tired of making them. Silly. This is Killian, by the way, if you're new to the channel and you've never seen the kids before. He's my younger son. He just turned 3 in November.
Hello!
Hello! And aside from the octopi, also, I'm thinking of doing another one of the granny cocoons, like the red, black, and white one that I made, the giant granny square shrug. There are a few other things that I'd like to do. Honestly, when I'm done with the his and hers outdoor sweater, I might be making one for my husband because he likes the way that it looks. I'll probably make his in a solid color like a gray or a black because he kind of has that gray man thing going on, and if you don't know what that is, that's sort of a survival tactic where you wear muted colors so that if you're in a crowd of people, you don't really stand out. So if there was some sort of emergency situation, you're less likely to get spotted and be caught up in the hullabaloo and craziness of things like riots.
No holidays for you?
Yeah, buddy.
Holidays.
Holidays. And the last thing on the list is to tag a fellow craft vlogger to do this video. So I am going to tag, well, I'll actually tag the last two people I named. I will tag Elizabeth, a crafty crocheter, and Tiffany, the conscious crafter. So hopefully we'll be seeing a video from them sometime in the near future, and I will link everybody's channels down in the description below the video. And I guess that's really it for this one. So I hope you all enjoyed listening to me ramble about the things that I'm looking forward to making and finishing this year as far as crochet goes, and I'm looking forward to seeing everybody else's videos about the same kind of stuff. So thank you so much for watching, everybody, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.